First, introduce yourself. I'm the pain. Alright? Yeah. Yes, the pain. P to the A-I-N. And I'm gonna stay that way to the end. Yeah. So, Pain, you're known for your Donkey Kong show? Oh, yeah. Crack rock and your heavy use of drugs. First, talk about how you got started in the business. I met a very intelligent man. I thank him for all my success. Billy Rojo. Billy Rojo was a tough man. He was very mean and very just like you didn't want to say certain things. He would make Dane Cook. He would make Eddie Murphy feel like Dane Cook on any given day. If Eddie Murphy said something wrong to him, he would make it, the greatest comedian feel like the lowest comedian. And that's just how he was. He was tough. He was just rude. But anyway, I met him at this across the street from it was a Toys R Us. Yeah, it was a toy. I ain't seen a Toys R Us in a long time. I met him at a Toys R Us though, and I was getting something for my little son. He said, "Hey man, what's going on?" And I just like, wait a minute, it's Billy Rojo, the popular THG booker, the person who booked people like 90 and 90 and a few of my friends. He booked Dude and Dude. He booked various people, a lot of people from the SIDE days, and I talked to him a little bit and I told him about my material. I explained everything. I said, "Hey Billy Rojo, now let me tell you this. I don't play no games, alright, when it comes to my art." And so I just performed my little bit in front of him where I was a little mouse, and then I was being chased by a little cat, and I was just doing all these noises, and I was just trying to impress them because I knew, hey, this is a popular booker. Right in front of everybody at Toys R Us, they was just looking at me like I'm on crack or something, man. And he said, "Boy, what are you doing? If it's to make me laugh, it ain't work." I'm like, really? He said, "Nah, you just embarrassing me, man." I'm like, really? Hands me his card. He says, "Call me when you're off the stuff, alright?" So then I finally called him a few days later, and I'm like, "Sir, I wasn't on any drugs. I was just trying to impress you." He said, "You did. I was just being an asshole, man, just to make you feel low after you feeling high. I like to do that." I'm just so like torn. Couldn't believe it. And he booked me for the Donkey Kong show. So you and D-Mac are known for your conflict. Yes. What was it like working with him on the first show, like when you guys got along? Man, it was something. We, like everybody knows us for getting into a lot of fights and stuff, but the first day we both was just so excited to be working with each other and to be doing this. We were both brothers. We was kind of popular in the underground scene. We used to do little stage shows. We used to go to all kind of school talent shows, me and D-Matic, and we rolled together. It was ride or die with me and him. Through the abuse years with Grandpa Joe and stuff like that, we hung out. We stuck to each other like glue. And it was just, we had a certain chemistry because our bond was so strong where like nothing could stop us. And so that first day we were just so happy that we were out of that house and we were able to finally put our talent out there in front of a full screen. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know you know what I'm saying. So the first episode didn't go over so well. Oh no. But the episode where you and D-Mac finally argued, was that real? Yes, it was. This episode was real, cause they was gonna cancel us. Not many people know Donkey Kong would have got canceled. Oh, really? Yes. Donkey Kong almost got canceled because me and D-Matic, we was still brothers that was just, excuse me. Excuse me. We were brothers and stuff, and we, like I said, our bond was strong and our relationship was incredible. You know, I mean, we was like real brothers, and we just cared and loved each other. But an incident happened that I never really told people about. Since the ratings was so bad, some guy came up to me. He was like, "Hey man, it's gonna need to be some action on this show, okay? We tired of seeing y'all hug and kiss, you know. This ain't Young and the Restless, man." I'm like, "Well, what do you want me to do, man? There's only so much I can do." He gave me this drug. It was, he called it crystal. I'm like, "A crystal?" He said, "Yeah, smoke it." Found out a few days later, it was cracking. You tricked me. I was young at the time, so I didn't really know about drugs. I stayed away from that stuff. But here I am in the entertainment industry, and, you know, smoking crack. And I was just high that whole time on the show. And me and D-Money got into this big argument, and it actually gave our show attention. It was watched by 1 million, somewhere in the millions. Yeah, that was the show that brought us to fame. Alright, I'm gonna say a few people, and I want to hear your opinion on it. Grandpa Joe, asshole. That boy can't act a lick. That boy is a dick. That's what I can say about Grandpa Joe. He's a dick. Right? Mrs. Joe, a person I love so much. I mean, I was on death's door a few years ago, and I talked to her, and I wasn't. She is a very, very nice woman, and one of the best people that I've known in my lifetime. And it's unfortunate she passed away last year. Sorry about that. Let's move on, man. It's kind of tough for me. So, your thoughts on Dixie? This is just funny, man. She just makes me laugh, man. I mean, anytime we listen to Crack Rock and I'm just laughing and I sound crazy, it's because Dixie just makes me laugh. It's just her voice and her tone and how she acts and stuff. It just makes me happy, and man, she's amazing. After the Donkey Kong show was very successful, you went on to do things such as HY in the year 2000. Yes. HY was one of your top shows. It was the first ever TXG radio. Paved the way for shows like F&K, 90%. Jazzmar now has his new show. What is your thoughts on Hell Yeah and the era from Hell Yeah to currently with Jazzmar's show? This is kind of hard for me, you know, to really. I say this: the early days, in my opinion, was the best days, cause we had no disrespect. I mean, it was the old school. Nobody disrespected one another. It wasn't too many fights. It was better back then, I feel. Now, as for today with Jazzmar, I feel like now Jazzmar is bringing it back to what it used to be. The fact that he's putting so many guests on that show and reading his poems and stuff like that, and just letting himself out and releasing himself, I feel he should be doing it because yeah, it's good to let people express themselves. That's all I want to say. And I feel like the more we let people express themselves, have their time to talk, the more better off we'll be. And that's for the world, baby. Remember? Alright. So, man. Alright, so, hell yeah. What do you think about that show? Man, it came at a perfect time. I mean, I was rising up in popularity because my success with Diddy and Dixie. This show was the biggest show of 2000, and for a while it was one of the best shows to ever come out in TXG history. And man, I couldn't believe that success. I mean, being pushed up that high in your life, in your young life, being pushed up this high, and you can't do no wrong, because if you do wrong, you know what's waiting for you. And what's waiting for you ain't no peace, ain't no nice. It's some sick shit. And you don't want to fall off. But sometimes when you that high, you gotta get high in order to stay high. And when you get high, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna end it off right now. To be continued. To be continued. So yeah, I mean, it was a brilliant time period, like I said, and I had fun. So yeah, you were really at the top around this time. I mean, Action 1, Action 2. When you first seen ODD, how was it? Man, we clicked. Everybody was talking about it around this time, saying that it was gonna be tension and we was gonna hate each other and all this bullshit. And I was just like, no, we're not. I knew ODD, watching him on TV every day. I used to look up to him, and he used to look up to me, because he told me this. And we'll be right back. I feel like with me and Dixie, though, that's the show that started it off. And, oh, yeah, I was talking about ODD. We clicked immediately. You know what I'm saying? We was both on the same kind of drugs, had the same kind of popularity, and we just talked to each other. We just talked about how much we loved each other's show, and I mean, it showed on camera because every time we was together in that movie, it was the best scenes. And I mean, like, for when you get two guys that are at the top, and you put them in one place, and they both like each other, and you put a camera on them, you creating magic, baby. That's what you're doing. You are creating magic. And when people see that magic, they're gonna be amazed. They ain't gonna believe their eyes, and they ain't gonna believe their ears. I mean, it's just gonna be one of those things that's just like, yes, this is it. I feel like whoever okayed Action 1 should be honored, should be in the TXG Hall of Fame, because he made him a beautiful decision. So yeah, and as far as the Donkey Kong show with me and Dixie, me and Dixie, I mean, we didn't click at first. Yeah, talk about that. I actually skipped that. Talk about the first time you seen Dixie. I just want to say that you sound like that dude from The Insider. But yeah, when we first met, we got into this heated argument. She just was blaming me for this because me and Dixie knew each other a long time ago, and I mean, we knew each other a long time ago, and the last time we seen each other, it was this ridiculous argument that I don't want to put nobody business out. I don't want to say certain things. I just know that we just didn't get along too well, and everybody had a talk with us, from Miss Joe to Grandpa Joe to even Flamingo Johnson sneaking out and doing that and talking to us. Flamingo Johnson, now known as 90%. He taught us, and we eventually just said, okay, let's leave that in the past, and we got along. After that, from the first episode to the mid episode, that's when we had our problems. But from the mid episode on down, we started really doing our thing. We made a hit song, Two More Bananas. Oh man, that was just a great time. We both started really building a positive relationship. And I could make fun of her along the way. yeah. Alright, your thoughts of going into SIDE. You're the first ever TXG person, yes I am, to go into SIDE, and I mean that was a first for the time, because not many TXG guys could go into wrestling and meet for Nino and stuff. How was that? Again, you know, that's early 2000. That was just perfect. That was like the icing on the cake for me. People say Action 1, 2, yeah, that was good for me. That was the best for me. Dealing with Flamingo, I mean, these are the people I'm watching at home that I'm told I can't meet because of stupid reasons. So to finally meet these people up close and personal and be told I'm making history as I'm living a dream, man, I felt great. I felt like that was that day, that entire day, and even that night was probably the best day I ever had in my life. The best. Because, like I said, I'm dreaming and making history. That's like sleeping and you can sleep and you ain't gotta live a life. That's beautiful. Yeah. But anyway. So, all through 2000, man, you were the biggest star. Now, I know you don't really want to talk about this. Oh shit, what you got for me now? I know you don't want to talk about this, but I want to ask you about the album, man, that you came out with your brother. Man, that was terrible. The reviews was like worse than I can ever imagine. Recording the album, doing my verses, I knew it wasn't gonna be a hit. This was just oh man, it was just a bad time to do that, you know. I thought that was gonna make me fall off, but it didn't. The album was called, what was it called? Judgment Day? It's Judgment Day, time to come pay. It was bad. And that's all I gotta say. I don't mean to sound like Waka Flocka and say like 2 words to describe something, but it's bad. Alright, next question. Now I'm gonna bring up some more people, and I want to know your opinion on these people. The Witch Doctor from Dee Dee and the Witch Doctor. Mentally retarded. You know, and I'm not just saying that because he's whatever he is. I don't know if it's Jamaican or, but the boy is retarded. I remember coming to my dressing room one day, and I'm looking for a pair of my shorts. Next thing I know, I see the Witch Doctor. He done came out the bathroom. He got half a dookie out his ass. I'm like, man, you better go on in there and wipe that up. He gets my pants and he puts them on and takes them right off, and then says, "Here go your pants." I'm like, you motherfucker. You nasty motherfucker. So then oh man, just a weird guy, you know. That's just one incident. We went through a lot on that show, but hey, the show worked. I'm surprised it did, because that's chemistry that we didn't have, because the dude is borderline retarded. Hey, yeah, I'm just being real. Best. Misunderstood. That's how I feel about the Best. I think Best is one of the most understood TXG guys to ever arrive. You know, people call him lame and people call him this and that, but if you really listen to Best and you really get to know who he is, you probably will think twice before you call a man lame and this and that, because he has a lot of things going for him, and it's unfortunate what he does, like when he does blurt out messed up things, but we'll be right back. But Best is very misunderstood, that's what I think of him. talented, bro. Talented. Yeah, very. Some people call you the guy that started careers for people, like Killer, you know, a current popular TXG guy. What can you say about him? On his first day, how he was then and how he is now. Bad. A bad boy. A bad fucking just, oh man. He's just, and it's just one of them things where, like, when he was young, we used to teach him things. It's like, we used to take him backstage and teach him things. Teach him about respect, self-respect, respect for others. And it always felt like when we was telling him these things, that it was registering. Because he used to just he used to be polite. I mean, yeah, at first he was bad, but as you taught him, you seen him getting better and stuff, and seen him acting better and doing good things. Now the Killer Comedy Tour is coming soon, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. I seen a little snippet of the Killer Comedy Tour. I ain't looking forward to it. I'm not, cause of the disrespect he had for ODD, me, myself, D-Matic. Man, that boy there. Oh boy, it's unfortunate. He wasted his talents. That's what I think. All right. So after the big year in 2000, then came 2001, Grand Theft Auto 1. You started that. It was James's show, and you continued to get on there till eventually you were a cast member. Exciting. Just exciting the whole time. I mean, I was dealing with a lot of guys that I understood, and a lot of guys I could really talk to on a real level, and people that could listen to me. James, Shotgun Bart, rest in peace. A lot of those guys was just real cool, and that's what I remember. Every day was just fun, you know what I'm saying? Doing the missions and stuff like that, it was great. In 2002, Payne's show got canceled. Hell yeah, it got canceled for the first time. How was that, man? Oh, I took that hard. You talk about me crying every night. I mean, this is the show that made me. So to be told the shit's canceled, I'm like, oh man, I was gonna cancel the producer's life. I was gonna cancel, man. I was gonna cancel my own life. I'm like, this is not canceled. I couldn't believe it. They called me on my phone. My rep told me, hey man, it's over. Hell yeah. I ain't know what to do. I was contacted by MZ. He talked about CAW. I'm like, man, I can't wrestle a lick. I'm just a referee. CAW came. Woo! I mean, I had fun with GTA. This shit right here was just a blast. Being able to face New Jack at Broken Cross. Oh man, jumping through the tables and stuff. I mean, it was just the first real action-packed thing I had to do. It was hard work, but it was fun. And then CAW gets canceled. Oh, here we go again. Then we move on to late 2002. That's when TXG wasn't really doing anything. What were you keeping busy with? That's when I first. You know, was that the? We'll be back. I became so addicted to that mess, man. And crack, yes. I mean, everybody had their crack epidemic in the 80s, man. Mine was 2002. We was over here at Grandma's house, you know what I mean? And sometimes she'll lock us out. Not many people know this, but she'll lock the TXG people out. And I'll just go on to my friend Pi. I'll go to his house and, man, I'll get crazy. I'll light up and get high, get blazed, get flamed. And I was just so bad. And I mean, it stayed like that for some months. And I felt like it was gonna never get better. So after that whole time period, I know it's hard for you to talk about this. It is. So what do you think of when you finally got out of there and you were approached with doing HY and the whole Donkey Kong series again? Reluctant. That's why I was reluctant to do that. Anything to get out of where I was. Like I had to do something. But doing crack that long, I didn't realize the effect it would have on my entire body and my entire brain. I would act ways I wasn't trying to act. I would do things I wasn't trying to do. And I mean, when I heard that, because when we did that first episode of Hell Yeah, New Production, that's when we changed the name of the series. It was called New Production. And when we did that, and I read the reviews for that, and they said Pain looked like he's been on crack for the last few years, I was like, wow, you know, is it that obvious? How did people treat you in the locker room and stuff? Oh man, they treated me good, you know. I mean, I was the big star, and it's just they felt like, okay, I'm Pain, you know. I mean, they was very patient with me, but there was only so much they could take, and you know, in a matter of time, they started seeing myself like really losing my marbles. I mean, I would just burst out in front and out of nowhere, and I didn't know I was doing it till like the next day. I would have my crazy days, and I just come there belligerent, high, cussing at everybody, and people telling me I did things, and I'm like, I didn't do it. That wasn't me. That was my disease. And people said, well, you need help with that disease. Well, mine's uncurable is what I would tell them. And man, I had my worst dry spell around that time. Being told you're not funny and all that, that made me continue to go to the crack. At least crack thinks I'm funny. So, I mean, Hell Yeah was really decreasing in popularity, but what did come up was the Vice City show. You want to talk on that? Of course. I knew this show was going to be good when we were doing it. When me, James, and Best and D-Matic got together, said we're going to do Vice City. When I heard that we was going to go from Miami to Vice City, when I heard that we was going to go from Liberty City to Miami, I knew. When somebody said that, I knew that was going to be it. Okay, yes, Hell Yeah was not doing good. Donkey Kong show, not even worth mentioning. And I just knew that, okay, I had two bad shows. I'm going to be in Miami with four talented people, including myself. Of course, this is going to be tremendous. Of course, the fans going to eat this up. And boy, did they ever. I still get people saying, Pain, man, that was the best show ever of your career. In my opinion, that was the last best show of my career. And then, got another surprise, man. Yeah, the surprise was that they said it was going to end, and it ended way too early for such a big show, man. Didn't take it well. Back to crack again. Yeah. Back to drugs. Back to not taking care of myself. Back to feeling sorry for myself. Back to ground zero is where I was. I was back to where I shouldn't have been. And man, it was just like, I felt terrible. And they told me, man, we got to do one more HY episode. And so I'm like, oh, I didn't even want to get up to do that. I mean, HY, that show felt like my baby. It felt like my baby boy. And to be told that you can't have your baby no more is the way I felt when they said that's it for HY. That's it for the Grand Theft Auto that just popped off. The fans was upset that Grand Theft Auto was ending. Nobody cared except me and my mama that it was ending. But yeah, bro, I mean, Wow, I couldn't believe it. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about that, man. But the last episode was so, or what was supposed to be the last episode of HY, was so high rated and talked about that eventually they brought you back. It's true. Came back that February of 2004. Oh man, and the first episode it was picking up. It was good. We had a good little following. That second and final Hell Yeah episode. Woo. Yeah. I went in that show not knowing it was gonna be the last episode, cause you know, and I just did what I had to do. So can you go into why that was the last episode, Kane? Well, although I was very successful, I told you, man, I was on crack. All right, crack was my clothes. It was put on the shirt, put on your underwear and your pants, and make sure you get high. Go out in the world. The drug use was terrible. I came there looking terrible. To look terrible for a radio show or some other shit, but yeah, I wasn't in proper shape. I yelled at people, cussed at people that was trying to help me. I felt like everybody was a demon around me. And they would be people trying to help me and trying to better me, and I just used to feel like, man, who are you, motherfucker? And cussing and everybody was just sick of my behavior, and they said that something got to give, Pain, and that's when they said we have to end the series, and it was because of me that it ended. Hell Yeah could be going on right now if it wasn't for what I was doing, and that's something I hold deep regret for, because the fans didn't deserve that. Fans didn't deserve to see such a brilliant show canceled. The fans are the one that brought it back, because and wow, to give them that in return, 2 episodes, the second episode being humongous, and then that's it. It's like a whole deep regret for that. Yeah. So now we move on to what were you doing after HY? Come on, man. I'm tired of saying I get high. Yeah, man. Getting high. Then 05, the return to radio, if you will. There came the show F&K. Oh yeah. What was F&K like? It blew me away. I thought TXG was done, because for a while HY was the big show. HY was the big fish. And to see another radio show with D-Matic, Best, and Killer and all that, to see that whole, like everybody, it was just so different. When I first seen it, I was just like, oh man, this is not gonna last. This is just a clone of HY. But to hear the cursing and the profanity usage pushed up, and to see the violence and level pushed up, and just that whole I don't care attitude, that vibe, that bad shit, it's just like, oh man, maybe this could be something. And it took off. And it still remains, you know what I mean? But man, I still to this day can't believe how incredible it was. Huh? YouTube. Some people said that this is where you rose down. D-Matic taunting you and going out. I said going out and going off on you for all this stuff. What was happening to you? Oh man, it was just like D-Matic putting my personal information out there, telling people I do crack and I'm gay and all this. It's like sometimes you just can't hide from the truth, and the fans start saying everything D-Matic was saying and stuff, and that really pushed me to a low level. But you came back, man. One thing I got to say about you, Pain, is you will come back. That's what I do, man. You know what I'm saying? I come back when I need to come back. And when you came back at TXG TV, SIDE TV on Day of Reckoning. And man, you were just adored. What happened? I mean, how did you become from Diddy Kong to the Pain? What happened? Just training, you know, doing a lot of training and exercising, working out, and just I had a trainer, Billy Rojo, the person who got me in the business. He was trying to get me up. I mean, even though Billy Rojo hated everybody, he was there to uplift you sometimes. When he seen potential in somebody, he didn't just say, "Oh man, I don't want to see potential in you," and just let him go. He was the type of guy that helped you and, you know, build you up. Even though he was a asshole, he was there. He was a hell of a supporter. He trained me. He got me on the weights machine and all that, and just I remember him continuously just yelling, and "You're the pain, man. You're the pain. You're tough. You don't feel pain. You the pain. You the pain. You the pain." I'm like, man, say that again. He's like, "You're the pain. Go ahead, say it. I'm the pain." I'm like, "I'm the pain." And he slapped me so hard when I said that. It's like, man, don't ever say it like that. And I'm like, "I just said I'm the pain." Another slap to the face. "Say what?" I'm like, "I'm the pain." He didn't slap me no more. He backed away. He said, "I want you to take that same attitude out there to that ring and show people that you the pain." They booked me up against, I don't know who it was. I think it was a Booker T. And we got into our little thing. You know, I had the boxing gloves on, the trunks. People was like, "What is Pain? What is Diddy Kong doing?" I had that match. After that, people was calling me the Pain everywhere. They said what a tremendous change in TXG, and man, they couldn't believe it. I actually skipped over something, Pain. How did you feel about the change from from Sides to TXG? A big change. I was worried at first. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend. Nah, man, I was worried at first. I thought that this was gonna hurt TXG when we turned from cartoons to humans, because I felt like some people weren't gonna be over as well. And to see the way Dixie came out, I was just blown away. You know, she went from this whole Valley girl, I'm popular, to this dark, just incredible character. And I like the way she progressed herself over the years after that. And when I turned human and stuff from the whole cartoon figure, I knew that Pain character, I felt like, man, like it felt good. That's all you need to know. All right, so that's all you need to know. You went on your ass right here. So your Pain character's doing good. TXG TV, you're the top rated, you're the champion at this time. I think you beat Bob Classic. Yes, we got into many feuds. Me and Best in long Iron Man matches that took days, hours. Me and Charles Dean and knockout matches, hours long. And I mean, just breaking records in TXG around that time and just having a good time. I mean, whew. People talking about how Pain fell off the previous year and stuff, and I mean, it was crazy. So I mean, what got you into this? I mean, you just told us how you were on crack and stuff. Billy Rojo, he seen me in the house smoking on my little thing and or whatever, and he was like, "Look, Pain, get off of that, okay? Get off of that mess." And he slapped the pipe from me, and just every time he seen me on the pipe, he got that pipe and he threw it away. So that explains me being so strong. I mean, yes, the previous year I was on drugs and I was high as the devil, but now I'm in shape and stuff, and people liking who they see. And it was fun, man. I mean, being Pain. How was the Pain? So then, We move on to Catman, part 1 and 2. How was that? Wow. When they said, Pain, I want you to wear this tight leather suit, and I want you to scream Catman with ears and tails attached. Y'all want my career to fall off already? I'm like, I feel like they was trying to kill my career with that. I mean, put on a suit that resembles a cat and is leather and scream at you Catman. Be like, Catman, like that. It was just so homo to me, you know what I mean? And I felt like, no, man, I'm not going to do that. And you already know who, Billy. Bring his old ass over there. Yeah. Hey, Tagger. You gonna put on this suit? I'm like, nah, man, I ain't gonna put on that suit. And then he grabbed me from the back and he put me in a full Nelson. Put me in that, and I'm like, let go, man, let go. He said, well, put on the suit, Tagger. So I put on that suit, and I felt great. Actually, when I put it on, it was tight, but I felt a certain way. I felt like a cat, you know, and sometimes I would overact in the movie, and people would be like, okay, Payne, you look kind of homo doing that shit. But I was having a great time as Catman, and I think the second one was the best. It was the last one of the series, and it was the best. It's just all the jokes that was written for me, all the jokes, well, not written for me, I wrote most of the stuff. The storyline was good, I liked it. Like Catman 1, nobody knows who he is. Then at the end, they find out that he's a hero. Now it's part 2, the hero's getting stale. You know, I felt like if the series went on, it would have got better and better and better. But, I mean, man, again, my drug use plays a major part in the delay and eventual cancellation of Catman 3, and the eventual cancellation of my successful career. So, man, you were finally enjoying your time still, even though people were knocking you for who you were. But I think we moved from all that to late 2005, or mid to late 2005 rather, and that's when it happened. Yep, I fell off again, you know. It was a very roller coaster time, because here I am up from being the Pain and down again from being the same person I am. Diddy Kong, alright. Pain Young. Pain Marcus Young. Being that person. When Pain Marcus Young and the Pain mixed together, it's not real good. Well, basically, I changed my clothes. I had the American flag and everything. That was my wrestling gear. I had American boxing trunks, and I had gloves and stuff. And that's who I was, you know. And I was a boxer, so people respected that. But I decided one day to color it. That's right, to make the stripes purple and make this flag, the thing with the stars and stuff, and make that a little yellow and stuff. I started mixing it up and not matching on purpose, just to see what people would think. And they didn't like it. For some reason, I thought since they didn't like it, that was good. So I just changed it up every year or every month. And that's when people said, okay, man, we can't deal with it no more. And I mean, that was the downfall of me. It's just they could finally see, okay, this person, there's a problem with this person. So after this time period, you know, I know it was rough. Wasn't. 2006 comes. You're not heard from in early 06. You're rarely there. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna ask you. I know it was the drugs. Yeah. And then we moved from there to when you finally became sober for a short time. Don't say a short time. That made me feel bad, man. Yep. Well, I had start. I talked to a doctor that told me that, if I keep on doing what I was doing, I was going to eventually die. And my son was right with me. He was 5 years old, and I remember seeing him cry when he heard that, and the tear in his eye. I'm like, oh man. And so I went to rehab for them and for my health, my very own health. And so I did the whole 12 steps, and I remembered it like yesterday. I wrote all the 12 steps on the back of my hand and stuff. I wrote it all over myself at one point. I even got a bunch of tattoos of the 12-step program all over my body. Yeah, I got rid of that shit surgically. Surgery. But yeah. So I got them all surgically removed and stuff off me. But I just knew what it was, basically. I knew the 12-step program, and I lived by that. And so I came on that F&K, and I told everybody I'm sober, and I was happy to be a survivor from drugs, and I was hoping that I could inspire people to not do it anymore. And I mean, I was just excited, man. So what made you want to finally tell people that? Because I heard that at first, Payne, you're kind of afraid to tell people that you were sober now. Just courage. I had a lot of courage, man, after quitting it. I mean, at first me and the doctor got into it every day, but it's just like he told me something before I left. He said, if you have enough courage to talk, you have enough courage to be comfortable with being yourself, and to be comfortable with telling somebody anything, and I mean anything that you feel on the inside. And he said that, I'm like, yes. And so I had enough courage, and I told everybody, look, man, this is what I did, and this is what I came from. Don't go to this road. If you've been to this road, you can get out. It's not too late. And man, I was just happy to just lift people up by saying, look, I'm a survivor of cocaine, and I was just excited around this time. Even though I wasn't the main star in TXG, even though I wasn't popular, I felt good enough to tell people this is where I was. Then you got back on drugs. Yep, sure did. It was just, around this time, like I said, F&K was a very violent show, very cutthroat. The year previous, that's when TXG became more bad and serious, and everything bad was in and everything good was out, basically. And so, just waking up every day, being told what somebody's probably gonna say to you, and and all this and all that, and just having to take that shit sometimes, it kind of takes a toll on your heart. It's like people will just say, oh man, it's just words, it's just words. It's like eventually words, they do begin to hurt sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it's like if somebody keeps saying something over and over again, you eventually start believing them. And you see that in yourself, and it just really starts hurting you and stuff like, and that's what happened. It was just words that start taking over me, that I let take over me. And man, I just wish I didn't, because I started getting high again. Started getting high in like late December. Yep. Of 2006. That's when I started getting high again. And Billy Rojo around this time, that's when he was diagnosed with something. He was very sick. And I was like, oh no, I can't believe this. Billy Rojo can't be sick. And he was sick. I was no longer popular. I was on F&K, being called names and all this stuff. And then they told me that F&K wasn't doing good in the ratings, and just all that stuff that's happening at one time. It was crazy for me. And somebody came up to me and offered me some drugs or something, and I just said, man, I can't decline. Wow. So then, during this time period, Payne, I gotta say, this is where you really fell off, huh? Oh yeah. Sorry to put you down like that, but uh, it's a shoot interview, ladies and gentlemen. I'm scratching my nuts. So this was a dark time period for you. Early 2007 hits. What's happening? Drugs. A lot and lots and lots of drugs. You know, sometimes I'll be going off on people. It started the show again, and the medic was asking, "You on crack again?" And I'm like, "Man, I ain't on no crack." Talking all belligerent and stuff like that. And so we are doing an FNK episode. This was live, and cause around this time I had nowhere to live, and I mean I couldn't even live in the street without the police harassing me. So sometimes I would go to the FNK studio since I had a key, and I would go in there and I just smoke my crack or whatever, or live for a few minutes or a few hours or a few seconds in that studio. So until I got kicked out. So I was in there and I was smoking my crack, and they caught me. And man, it was just like people just found me and all that, and it was like, "Man, I thought you quit." And people could not believe it that I was on it again. That's when I was just that's when I stopped caring, and I really just started really smoking like anywhere. And I showed people, yes, I'm a crackhead. I'm proud of it, and I was so proud around that time. And it became some of FNK's biggest moments, because every time I was high, people wanted to see that. They wanted to see Pain high. They offered me crack before I went on the show. You know what I mean? Thank God this ain't WWE. So we go from, '07 all through there. You were just high, huh? Yes. Never sober. And they brought back Vice City. Any thoughts or opinions on that? Just to show, I knew that when it came back, that it was going to eventually go away again. I mean, yeah, it came in weak and then eventually got strong. But even when it got to that strong point, I knew it wasn't going to maintain the success it had in 2003. Because what we did on that show in 2003, we did it before, and if it's done again, it seems like a parody of what we used to do. So that's how I knew that, man, this ain't gonna be nothing like we used to do. This is just gonna be some weak shit. And it was very weak. It was, in my honest opinion, in my honest eyes, what I seen was not what Vice City meant back then. Especially with James being a flat out racist, along with his son and his wife and all that. That didn't work. It was too negative, and not enough comedy was happening on such a negative show. And I feel that's what caused the cancellation of Vice City. All right, we move on from Vice City to 2008. That's when we were told that Dee and Dixie, the show that was once the most popular show in 2000, was coming back to TXG. What was your thoughts on that? Wow, really? Are you serious? I was homeless, like around this time period. Like that's how I lived in '07. I was always homeless and stuff, and living out of dumpsters and out of cars, and so I got caught by something or someone. And so when I'm on the street and I'm hearing somebody say, "Hey man, Billy Rojo," he came out of his whole cancer thing. They finally removed the cancer from his body, and he survived it. And he came up to me. He said, "Pain, I got away. Well, you ain't gonna be out on the street no more." Really? How he just approached you like that? Well, yeah. I was walking out this Denny's, stole this person's cheeseburgers that got up to pee, and then next thing I know, I look up and I see Billy Rojo, and he's just sitting up there, and he got this big smile on his face, and I'm hugging him, and I miss him and all that. And next thing you know, that was the first thing to come out of his mouth, like, "You gonna be a success again." That's what he said. And I'm like, really? Well, how? I'm homeless, so I'm like, well, what's going on? And he said, Hey, I want to let you know that you gonna come back. All right. I'm in talks with Super Duper about bringing Crack Rock. I mean, damn, Diddy and Dixie back, and everybody was just surprised because around this time period, nothing could save TXG. 90% was still popular. Killer was falling off, and Wells was falling off. So to hear that something that was once popular is coming back to a place that's doing so bad at the time, people was excited, and I was excited myself. And yeah, so it came back. First episode, not so good. Oh no, the sound was bad. Can you explain the sound? They were trying too hard to be digital. They were trying too hard to be digital though. That's what was going on. What TXG used to record on was a basic recorder. You can probably find it at your local Walgreens. It's just a basic little recorder. You hit record. It's like a cassette player. It's small, and all you do is press play and hit record, and that's it. So instead of TXG trying to get a real camera and set it up and do Crack Rock, we decided to get a cheap recorder. And we had this cheap little recorder. It was terrible, and we put it close to this radio, and we scooted up to so it could pick up our voice and pick up the sound that was coming out of the TV, cause the TV was hooked up to the radio, so all the sound would come out the speakers. So that's how we set it up, and we put the recorder where the speakers was and our cells next to the damn recorder so it can pick us both up. Sometimes the radio would be too loud, sometimes we would be too loud and you couldn't hear the music on the thing, and man, it was just a mess, and I think that was the biggest problem with the sound, is that we were just trying too hard to be all unique and incredible, and it came out ugly. Yeah. So when Crack Rock finally picked up, what was going on? I was happy as hell, I was happy as can be, but I don't know, it's just one of them things where this ain't gonna last, and the whole thing with Best getting into all these fights. I'm gonna tell you about Best around this time period. You asked me about Best, very misunderstood, like I said, but you can be the most misunderstood individual and still have problems. I feel like Best has some serious mental problems that has not been diagnosed yet. He's like crazy. Going in there, breaking stereos. I come there, tapes are broken, and he's talking all this mad. Couldn't believe him. And I hear that I'm hearing that Crack Rock might be canceled and stuff, and people emailing me, Crack Rock's the worst show ever, because now I had an apartment, for the success of this show. But whew, boy, Killer started getting popular, and it just ended, man. It was just way too much stuff going on that was better than Crack Rock, and they got rid of it. And now, man, it's not much I can say about that time period itself. Just sadness, complete sadness. It was 2008, and I was big, and then I was bad again. It's like that was too much for me. After Crack Rock ended, that's when you finally went to rehab for good. Yes. First I went to a mental health clinic because I had some spasms. I spazzed out actually, and I was just tripping, and I was foaming out the mouth, and I was crazy. So they put me in this mental health center. They talked to me, put me under surveillance for like 24 hours, and man, they just examined me. They eventually helped me and found out what was wrong with me. And after the mental health clinic, I finally went to rehab, and I stayed there for a good time period. Man, you're supposed to just stay there for. Shut up, bitch. You lived at rehab? So I went to rehab, and man, I just got a lot of help and a lot of talks from people that are very important to me. After rehab, finally came back to TXG in like late 2009, and I recorded an album, and I just had to just let my heart out. So explain the whole recording of the album. It's like Eminem on Recovery, you know. Some of that stuff that he did, he was high as hell, and some of the stuff he did, he was sober as hell. And that was the process of my whole album. Pain. What was it called? You forgot to ask me a question, sir. Pain Unplugged. Pain Unplugged was just great, you know. I mean, that was the album. I was high as hell doing it, but I knew that while I was doing it, people was gonna pick it up and be like, "Yeah, this is just great." Yeah. All right. But you came out with your album Broken Thoughts, and you said you were high and sober, huh? I was fucked up as hell, and at like the first day I recorded Cowboys, something about the cowboy. I don't even remember the song. And they say, okay, fine, I'll keep that on here. So how did you get in contact, with people after being gone for so long? Billy Rojo. That's right. My main man, my partner. He said, record this album, man. You know, you got it, man. You got it. And I did it. I just let everything out, and I couldn't believe how, successful it was. Success was very good. Things was looking very great for me. I felt like, yes, I'm going to be comeback of the year. Ada was that 2009, and I felt like now I'm going to be here in 2010 to show y'all. Don't mark anybody off, because this is the pain, and I'm back, and I'm here to stay. That was my main thought. I was sober again, and I was going to stay that way. And then tragedy strikes. Miss Joe, passed away. I didn't go back on crack this time. I just went to a funeral and man, read my little eulogy. Very touching ceremony. And so I had to do a second album dedicated to her. And man, when I heard that both albums was going to be nominated for the top TXG albums of 2010, I was ecstatic. And even though I didn't win, I feel like somewhere up there in heaven, Miss Joe gave me an award. It's good. Touch. So you had an off-air episode of the whole Donkey Kong show where you met Dee Dee, Dixie, D-Matic, and even Todd was there. How was that? Fun. Me and D-Matic, we still have that chemistry. It might be hard to see through all the negativity and stuff, but we still have it. And it's just one of them things that didn't last long and never got an on-air appearance, but it was okay, All right, Dane. So I'm gonna ask you, Payne, now that you're not really on TXG or anything, what are you doing now? Occasional appearances. I'll come sometimes and say, hello, I'm still alive, I'm still kicking. I just basically just sit back and watch. I like watching Jazzmar. I like watching, Killer and stuff. I mean, even though he's disrespectful, I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy watching him, because he does remind me of a time where I had the world in my hands, and I just want to warn Killer, hey, you can have the world in your hands and you can drop it by mistake. You sure can drop it. And I just want to let every young person know that you can drop the world. Don't think that you're too high to ever fall off, because hey, to tomorrow could be that day where it's your last day. That's what I want these people to know, man. And I mean, I've come from some terrible, terrible times, and some dark times, and I just want people to know that it's okay to just give it to God and, you know, let go sometimes of certain things. It's like I've let go of just so many things that I realized was holding me back. The drugs, you know, people I surrounded myself around, I had to let them go. It doesn't hurt to let people go. It hurts to keep people that ain't supposed to be there, but it doesn't hurt to let people go. And that's all I want to tell people. I want people to know that. It's an incredible thing to tell people. How do you feel about the current success of your nephew, DT? Great. His music? Nah, that's some of that, you know, bad stuff. That cussing, that getting money movement. I don't approve of his music, but again, it's the way I feel about Killer. It's like it's so good to see him as a success, you know, and so young. It reminds me of what I used to do and how I used to be out there doing my thing and the whole Trap City movement. Hey, TCS for life. He got my blessing. Romy Rome's there. He's always been a supporter of me. Now he's a supporter of my nephew and stuff like that. I'm proud. I feel great just sitting back and watching now. Fun thing to do. All right, Payne, that's it for this shoot interview. Yes. Any plans for 2011? Stay out the streets. No more doing drugs, because the streets ain't me. All right, Payne, you take care. You take care.